All right, let's dive straight into something pretty fascinating today. We are looking deep into the observation records of Tommy Yoshida, also known as Tsutomu Yoshida, to explore this massive unresolved intersection of human judgment, technology, and honestly, what actual value is left to us as humans. We're talking about the cognitive gap. It's a huge issue, so let's just get right into it.
So picture this. It's the weekend, you really want to watch your favorite soccer team play, and boom, you see an ad. You can watch the match for just 980 yen. You're super excited, you click it without a second thought, you enjoy the game. But then, a few months later, you check your credit card statement and realize you're legally trapped in a completely inescapable year-long financial contract. It feels like getting hit with a bucket of ice water, right? And that forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. Who is actually at fault when you hit that agree button? This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This mirrors a real-world controversy with Dazin's pricing plans. So, is the user entirely to blame for not reading the fine print? Or does this expose a massive cognitive failure in how human brains process digital information? To understand this gap, Yoshida's Japan Edition records point us toward what he calls the illusion of published information. It's wild because the exact second you click a button, there are two entirely different realities playing out at the exact same time. It really shows how vulnerable we are walking around in digital spaces. Okay, so what are these two realities? On one side, you've got the corporate compliance team. They're looking at the screen and seeing that all the binding terms, the hyperlinks, the checkboxes, they were all objectively delivered. Procedure followed perfectly. But the user's reality? Totally different. Your brain is in pure soccer magic excitement mode. You are definitely not in high-stakes legal mode. So you're literally completely blind to the concept of an annual commitment hiding behind that giant 980. Now you might be thinking, well, that's just a modern smartphone problem, right? Small screens, fat thumbs. Actually, no. The international edition of Yoshida's records completely debunks that. This isn't just a new issue. Whether we're talking about the era of giant mainframe computers, the early dial-up internet days, or today's AI era, this is a historical pattern of cognitive mismatch. It's persisted no matter how advanced our tech has gotten. The fatal disconnect here is summed up perfectly by this quote from Yoshida. Organizations evaluate communication by what was published, but users evaluate it by what they actually understood. Companies mistakenly believe that if they just display the information technically, they've communicated. But in that massive void between a document being available and actually being understood, that is exactly where trust completely dies. But hang on a second. You might wonder, modern companies are obsessed with data, right? They've got multi-million-dollar dashboards tracking every single click and scroll. So how on earth do they completely miss the warning signs of thousands of confused, angry customers until it completely blows up in their faces? Well, here is the fatal flaw in data supremacy. A dashboard simply registers a mathematical conversion. It tracks past actions, the what. It is completely blind to the why. A click driven by pure excitement looks exactly the same on a spreadsheet as a confused click from someone thinking, wait, can I cancel this? The dashboard is totally incapable of tracking a user's growing, quiet feeling of being deceived. Okay, so this is where things get really intense. If teams of actual human beings are already failing so miserably at bridging this cognitive gap, we really have to stop and ask, what happens when we introduce lightning-fast AI into this incredibly fragile, misunderstanding-prone system? Visualize this for a second. Think of a highly developed, almost cyberpunk cityscape, where the sheer volume of AI-driven information has completely surpassed our biological processing ability. The network is vast and overwhelming, but right at the center of it all, there's a glowing scale of justice. And as we'll see, that scale carries a terrifyingly heavy meaning. We are stepping into a phase where machine learning algorithms are autonomously running the show. They're generating incredibly dense legal jargon, running thousands of automated A/B tests, and optimizing font sizes purely to squeeze out more clicks. They're even handling customer service. They are blindly optimizing for binary metrics, completely devoid of any understanding of human deception or morality. Yoshida uses a brilliant analogy here. Trusting AI with these optimizations is like putting a heavy brick on a car's gas pedal. The brick technically drives the car, right? It pushes it forward. But if that car loses control and crashes through a storefront, the police aren't going to arrest the brick. They're going to arrest you. You can delegate the physical action to an automated force, but you absolutely cannot delegate the accountability for the crash. And that brings us to the ultimate rule Yoshida outlines. Technology is amazing at rapidly speeding up decisions and efficiency. But the final social and moral responsibility, that rests entirely and inescapably with humans. No matter how smart AI gets, that absolute rule does not change. So, if we're deeply questioning what value is truly left to us, just consider what AI absolutely cannot do. AI can calculate thousands of UI permutations in a single second, but it cannot feel genuine regret for a mistake. It can't offer a sincere apology at a press conference, face crushing social backlash online, or stand before a judge. It simply doesn't feel pain or shame. Because of that, we realize that trust is fundamentally a biological phenomenon. We are the only entities capable of actually feeling the pain when that fragile connection of trust is broken. And because we know that pain, we can build genuine relationships. So let's look back at that glowing scale of justice. It's not just some abstract legal symbol. It represents the terrifying, heavy burden of accountability. Absorbing the impact when systems fail is a burden you can never outsource. And honestly, that heavy burden is the irreplaceable, undeniable value of a human being. What's really profound about Yoshida's observation records is that he deliberately avoids offering a neat 3-step checklist to solve this. There is no easy business hack here. And that's exactly the point. Navigating this crazy transition period requires us to sit with the discomfort of these unresolved, unfinished thoughts. We just have to be willing to deeply contemplate them, rather than rushing to a simple conclusion. So tomorrow, when you're about to hit send on a crucial email or when you publish a new design, leave yourself with this provocative thought. Is this information merely technically displayed, or has it actually reached their mind? Technology guarantees the data gets delivered, but holding that ultimate scale of accountability for its true impact, well, that will always rest solely in your hands.